Okay, hello everybody. I hope the sound is okay because the few streams that I've made, the sound has not been on at all. So please let me know if there is sound. If not, please let me know, and you most likely will. So hi everybody. Good evening or good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and that's something I really like to know. There are some familiar names already, but if there is different places of the world, please tell me before we start talking about the images. Let's wait for a little while, and I guess the sound is okay. Thanks for confirming that, because that's always something that I really have hard time to monitor, because I don't have any headphones, or if the lip sync or everything or anything else is not in sync. So, but it seems to be. So where are you guys from? Great to hear. Those who don't know, I'm in Helsinki, Finland, with very wintry weather, -5 degrees Celsius and a bit of snow. So we had a white Christmas here. Braking effect. I wonder what that is. All right, Northwest England, Boston, Dortmund, Germany, Israel, England. So Belgium. Do we have anything else? Czech Republic, welcome. Newbury, Denmark, Alberta, Canada. So we have, again, from different continents already. Hampshire, UK. All right, great. Great to see that. And Hungary. Yeah, we got a Sharpie from Durham. All right. Pennsylvania, US, Scotland. Yeah, Scotland is one of my favorite places that I've ever visited. I for some reason I like Scotland a lot. Switzerland, Italy, South Carolina. Ääni särkee hiukan in Finnish. Let's turn it a bit down. Yeah, that's true. I have the mic a bit too loud. Is it better now? Okay, let's do it that. Is it better now? In Argentina, and from Finland also, great. And rainy Germany. Okay, we have snowy Finland here. Alessandro is from Italy. Mexico City. Oh yeah, thanks. It's now the sound is a bit better. Yeah, it was a bit too loud. I had to adjust the microphone over there. So how many are we? We're 73 already. That's a huge amount right at the beginning. Usually it's this much people around after an hour, but I think we should start. And first, before we start looking at the great images that you've sent me, a small reminder. Many of you probably have seen that I have this 52 assignments for you next year, and I will publish, or they're already published if you have checked them out, but I will remind you every Sunday about the next week's assignment, and we will start next Sunday, or I will tell about the assignment next Sunday in my Facebook group, and also I might make a short video for YouTube also about the first assignment, about the whole thing. The first assignment is details in your surroundings, which this image that you see now is also all about. It's not very close, or quite close where I live in. It's a suburb here in Helsinki that has all these graffitis, and this is a really small graffiti in a concrete wall. And the whole idea of this assignment is to look around and see things that you might miss otherwise. So you need to be alert always when you're photographing. And the whole idea of the assignment is to get you out there and photograph a lot more next year. And as I said, I will participate on that too. If you're not familiar with the 52 assignments, then just after the live stream, go to the description of this video and click the 52 assignments video, and there are all the instructions and links where to go and how to get the assignments. Let's see how many. We have 84 already. That's a huge amount. I hope all your holidays and Christmas, or whatever you call it, has been great. I had a very lovely Christmas with the family, and still have some guests from New York here at the house. So if you hear some laughter and stuff like that, then don't worry, they're having fun on the other side of the house, and I'm here streaming for you guys and going through your images. And let's see, William Hansen. I hope you are okay and feeling good. I heard that you're a bit ill. And Edinburgh, yes, Edinburgh. And then let's see, Cape May, New Jersey, Southern Georgian Bay, Ontario, Canada. So we got all over the place, yeah. But I think we should start with the images. And the funny thing was that the video that I made about nighttime photography got over 20,000 views quite fast. And usually those assignment videos do not get that many views. They're a lot less. But the amount of images that I got is a lot less now, which was kind of, usually I get more images with 3,000 or 4,000 views on those videos, and you get like hundreds of images. Now I barely got enough images to have the 30, and actually I do have about, I think it was 24 images, so it's a bit less this time. I don't know why is that. Maybe there were a lot of new viewers on that video that they didn't really, want to take part, but there are a lot of familiar names taking part, which I feel really, really good about. But I think we should start to check out the first image. And please let me know. I've sometimes talked about an image without showing it. So if there is a problem, please let me know in the comments. I have a bad habit of getting into the images, so I don't really see what image is actually showing to you. But this one is from Yaniv Adir, and this image is very interesting. It has really nice light trails, and also what I like about this, because different stars have different colors. Many light trails are, or the images are, so that the stars look white, and here you have all the different colors, so the exposure is perfect, which is really good. Let me see if I can. Now I'm there. All right. Sorry about that. And the place is an interesting place in the States. It's a Crazy Horse Monument in Custer, South Dakota, USA. And the interesting thing is that I have a picture of that same exact location where I took the photograph in 1982. And when I saw this photograph, I thought that they haven't done anything. So I had to go online and check out. And they have done a lot since 1982. There is the face of the Crazy Horse guy, and that's why this also is quite interesting. But what I really like about it is that the stars have colors, and if you don't know what live composite is, you really need to check out. I do have several videos about live comp, and it's a really interesting way of making light trails and star trails, and I really like the composition also on this image, and the fact that there are not only the stars, but you have, I don't know what those lights are coming from. I don't know if you can see the mouse over there, where these lights are coming. This, and then this is probably a plane up there in the upper right hand corner. And usually planes might ruin your star trails if you make them with live comp. So try to avoid that. And if you see a plane coming, the good way to do is just to cover the lens for a little while. There might be, of course, a slight kind of incontinuity in the star trails, but sometimes it's better if there's a lot of planes, just cover the lens with your hand, or maybe a hat or something that you have with you, and then that good, so that you get rid of those planes. On this one, I don't think it really matters that there is the small light trail from that plane. I think it's totally fine. It doesn't ruin the image, in my opinion. And if you have any comments on the images or about anything, just let us know. I try to remember to check those comments. They're on my side over there, so there might be comments that I miss. And let's go to the next image. This one is by Ray Faisal, and what he said, this is made with Olympus Pen EP5 with the 12 to 50 millimeter lens. So you don't have to have the newest gear to make a great image like this one is. And let me see whatever there's. Yeah, this is from Jakarta. It's a and it was edited with the DxO Photo Lab, and that's one thing I have to say is that the DxO Photo Lab makes great image editing software for example noise reduction, and that makes old cameras nice again. So that is totally a use or a software that you might need if you have older cameras and you want to use high ISO. Then use DxO Lab software to get rid of the noise. You can make clean images with old cameras, which is remarkable. And I've been using a bit older cameras lately just because I can, because of the DxO Lab's great software. But of course, you have to have a good original which has good composition, good idea, good story, and then you fix them. Of course, those image editing software won't fix a bad image. And what I like about this image is the composition. The bridge that was mentioned there comes nicely from this. Oops, wrong mouse. Comes nicely from the side here, and it kind of leads your eye here, and then the long shutter speed has made the light streaks, and then you have these high rises there. And what's really important on these images, like I said in the video, is that it's sometimes or most times it's really good to have some details in the sky. In this case, there are clouds, but you have some holes in the cloud so you can see that. And also the color of the cloud is really nice. The light pollution doesn't ruin the image. The only small things are, of course, these neon lights and signs, which are really, really hard to expose correctly because they are just so bright. So bracketing Make Me HDR is something that one might try when they're doing these types of images. But yeah, another thing that I would make it a bit different is to darken slightly here at the bottom of the image, a bit bright at the bottom of the image. That would lead our eye more towards the bridge. But the composition is quite strong, so that we kind of come into the image from here, and then we start seeing this. So I think I like the image, and I think the composition is the one that is the most powerful in this image. But let's go to the next one. This is from Tromsø, which is a city in North Norway, and this image was taken 3:30 p.m. and you can see it's nighttime there. You know, you can let me turn myself off from that so you can see the whole image. And what I like about this is the color contrast between the yellow light in the city and then the blue snow, which is, of course, we know blue snow is white, but it turns blue in the blue hour. And like I said in the nighttime video, is that we're very blessed here up in the north, because blue hours, there's actually an hour. You have all the time in the world to take a lot of pictures during the blue hour because it lasts so long. And this time of the year, up in the north of Finland, there's no sun. The sun doesn't, come up at all. It will rise, I don't know, somewhere in February next time. So there is dark all the time. Luckily here in the southern part of Finland, in Helsinki, for example, we have about 6 hours of daylight now, which is not much, but it will get better when the spring comes after summer. And then also the background, you can see the mountains in the back. And this is always something that if there was a blue sky behind, this image would be even better. And but it doesn't ruin it because of you don't really see where the mountains are and where the clouds are, and because these mountains are pretty high, so the clouds cover the top of the mountains. There are big mountains in Norway, and yes, northern part of Norway is a beautiful place to photograph. I always say that come to Finland to photograph, but the second best place in the Nordics is definitely Norway. They have some magnificent places in there. But yeah, I agree. Like Steve Page says, what a What's that word? Spaccaroony. Great shot. Oh, Lersi Larsson says Winterlight, directed by Ingrid Bergman. Oh yeah, that could be it. That's a good thing. Awesome to listen this while trying to manage and do damage control for our own stolen photo. What does that mean, Lauri? I don't know. Oh. Is that your... I don't understand what's that. But maybe I will... Lauri is from Finland. Maybe I will talk to him. And let's see. And then it's Dawn Snow. Early Christmas lights. Used a Canon lens on this one. An old Japanese import truck in the left edge make me think of vintage Kodak photos. Yeah, there is some vibe of Kodak moment on this image. And I agree about the truck on the left. That is quite important part of the image, even though we all see the blue house almost in the middle and the starlight that the highlight makes when you're stopping down the lens. And that's something that if you want to achieve, and what I'm talking about is this light here. If you want to achieve something like this, you need to stop down. Usually it's not recommended to stop down too much, but if you want to have one of those stars or stars, the highlight to be a star, then stopping down will make that happen. And what the star will look like, it depends on the lens. The quality of the lens or the aperture blades is actually the thing. And some lenses are good at this and some not that good. And I think this old Canon FD lens makes it quite nice of a star. And also these light streaks from cars are a bit hard to make because it might get overexposed, like there is slightly overexposure. But then if you stop down, then you would lose the detail in the sky, like there is. It's pitch black and in the stream I see, but otherwise it's on my screen there is some detail in the sky, which is quite good. But it actually looks pretty good also in the colors are a bit more saturated on stream. Oh, let me go back. Our photo was stolen and re-edited and posted to internet. Now we are trying to some damage control, but your vid... Oh, okay. I thought it was that particular image. All right. Okay. Yeah. We'll talk about the images. My bad on that one. Yeah. Any comments about this image? How do you feel about this image? But let's continue and go forward. This one image is from Alan Ryder, taken at Media City, UK on the first night of the Lightwaves 2021 event on 3rd December. The main subject is a little small in the frame, but I wanted to include the other buildings and lights as well, and they are pretty tall. I have the image specifically of the floating Earth installation by Luke Jerram. All right. Okay, that's quite interesting. And I agree that the image of this light installation needs that background. I think it's a good idea to have it. Let me turn myself off so you can see the whole image. And there are some more details in the background, so you can see the sky, and there are some reflections on the water, like you can see on the stream too. And this kind of image, I think this kind of image is really, really interesting. And I think you need the surroundings. I think it's a better idea. I don't know what others think. I do think that it's a good idea to include all the other buildings. And I was going to say, about the composition. I think it's very good. You have the higher buildings on the right side, and then you have the light installation not right in the center. It's almost like a rule of thirds, and then you have a little lower buildings on the left. I could probably even think that if you crop this image a bit and do not have that much background on the left side, I think that would probably be a bit better. Not really sure, but that's something that you could probably try and see how it goes. But otherwise, I think this is a marvelous image, and I really like the reflection that makes the whole image a lot better. And of course, the different colors that they have on the neon lights, the red one on there. Of course, that's something that you have no control, most likely, unless they are changing the colors on those. That you could pick another time to press the shutter. But I think this image works really well. And usually when you have these buildings, if it's possible to get the image or make the image while there are lots and lots of lights also in windows, you can see the window lights, and there are lights inside the house or in the buildings, then I would probably it would be a bit better, even better. But that's something that you cannot control. It would be pretty hard to be on that time that there are lights on every single window. But this is really interesting place too, and of course the light installations are usually really, really great. Thanks for sending this. I really like this image. And then we'll go to the next one. And let's see this one here. Oops, now I'm messing up. I'm messing up with the with the picture. Okay, this is Michael White made this image, and this is from Vancouver, Canada. I decided to take a walk around the neighborhood at dusk later, as we had a rare clear fall day here in Vancouver, Canada. I figured I might get lucky with some clear shots of the coast mountains with some snow on them at dusk. I did get lucky, and the coast mountains did not disappoint. And it's a panorama of several images, and it's taken from Kitts Beach looking north towards downtown Vancouver in Canada. I think this is a remarkable image, and I really like the shape that you made it as panorama, because it just suits. And also the composition, I really like that you have the city on the right side, and then you have some trees and higher mountains, and then also that the clouds are on top of the city in a way, so that you have clear skies there on the left. It kind of balances in a way, maybe a bit unbalanced, but you can't really control the clouds. But of course, it's always a matter of pressing the shutter at the right time and wait for the perfect moment. But of course, we cannot always achieve that. And also, what I like about this is the contrast between the yellow light in the city and the blue hour and the blue color of the sky and the mountains on the back. And you have some snow on the top of the mountains, which make them a bit brighter. And that's really cool looking image. But it's a beautiful place, and always mountains behind a city is just something to photograph if possible. And that is also a place that you should visit more often if you have the possibility, to different weather and try different types of weather. What does it look in the bright sunlight? What does it look when it's really a moody, rainy weather? And of course, at this point in blue hour, it's just perfect. I just love this image. It's one of those images that could be printed and hang on the wall. That would look totally awesome. Well done. Let me see if we have any comments. Let's see. Do we have any comment? The house looked great. Please share some basic info about the image export. Oh yeah, that's true. The exposure. This is I will fix that a bit later. And yes, I think that was about that image. And what I will do now is to change this, and let's see if we can get some information about the what do you call the, is it here, view options? Let me see. Exposure bias. No, that's not it. Let me. Where do I find it? Here we go. Here we go. Now we have it. Like this is better. Now we have the exposure times. Of course, this is a panorama made out of many images, so that could change. But usually, it's a good thing to have the basic what do you call the basic time and aperture and ISO are the same when you're making a panorama. Just so use manual mode. That works better. And then we have this image from Peter Oddie. And I shot this image Monday, 6 December on a rainy evening in London. I like the combination of light and dark, reflected colors and the shadows of the indistinct figures. The direction of the paving enhances the image. I have cropped it slightly and boosted the color a bit. And this was shot with the EM10 Mark II with the kit lens and ISO 1600, which is actually quite a lot. But as you can see, it's pretty clean image. And yes, you're totally right about this, that the reflections on the wet pavement or the walk or the boardwalk or whatever that is really great, and that makes the image. And usually many people think that a good weather is the best time to photograph, but I disagree on that. I usually or think that photographing just after the rain, when there is some water on the ground, that will make the reflections, and that usually works a lot better. You get really interesting images. And here Peter Oddie has added more saturation to the colors, and that is also a good thing. Be not afraid to edit your images. I think it's part of the process, that you make things look even better, or you might bring back the contrast and the colors that were present when you make the image, because sometimes you might have a image that lacks contrast, even though there was more contrast during making the image. So always do some editing. And as you can see on the back, it's probably a shopping mall or something. As you can see, this green cast on the lights, and that's because it has these light tubes, most likely, that are a bit green, and that's usually not that good looking. But on this one, it doesn't really matter. But I just wanted to point it out that maybe that could be cleaned to be more neutral color. But the yellow color in the middle of the image is so strong that we see that. So I think that's something that draws our eyes. And also, an interesting thing about this image is the position of the people, that there is kind of like an empty path in the between the people, so they were kind of like walking towards each other, and there is an empty space, and then you have the yellow continuing in that kiosk or booth or whatever that's called. And I think that's makes this image really interesting. It would have been even better if there was some person right there looking at the camera. That would have made this image even better. I think it's a good image like this, but that would have made it even better. But that's also, again, something that we cannot control. It's almost impossible to get everything perfect on an image like this. But I think this is quite close to that. And let's see. Yeah, Dominic DePaul says exactly the same thing. The pattern in the foreground leads you into the picture. Well done. And then, do we have any? Mogbridge is asking, are you wearing your famous shorts, Peter? No, I'm not. Not this time. It's winter here. I will do it. That's, yeah. Those who have seen my videos in the summer, I had these shorts, but you need to check them out from my channel. Let's see if we have a next image here. And this one is from Finland. And there is a longer story here, but let's just make it short. It's in Finnish, so I have to translate this. He was driving home, and it was very, very cold. And this place that he saw on his way is a ski resort. As you can see, we don't have as high mountains as they do in Norway or Vancouver. So this one is a very little ski resort or downhill ski place, but very popular. And what they did was they made some artificial snow out of water. Of course, they got these, I don't know what you call them in English. It's almost like a cannon with shoots snow. They put water in the other end, and the other end will throw some snow to the ground so that they can extend the skiing season. And that's what they're doing there. And of course, they have very bright lights, which makes the snow really, really bright. And then you have the interesting looking sky that the clouds are quite low, and then it reflects the light from that, which makes that interesting circle here in the middle of the image, which looks a bit unnatural, but it is. It's not. I don't think it is. What do you call, edited in that way? And then it was a HDR image, which made it possible to have the darker areas, some details, and also details in the bright side. Yeah, William Hansen said snow cannon. Yeah, that's what it probably is. And he said that it's a bit soft, but I don't really see the softness of this image. I think it's totally fine. And also he said that he didn't have enough or not long enough lens, but I don't think that's a problem. I think you can see the surroundings, and the composition is really great, that it's over here 1/3, and you have the horizon also, well, not 1/3, but low here, because that's not very interesting, but the sky is really interesting. And I think this image is quite interesting in many ways. You got a lot of colors in there, and the one thing that I would probably do is to add a bit contrast and maybe a bit saturation. But then yet again, I tend to like a bit oversaturated images and a lot of contrast. So that's only me. This is totally fine like this. If this is something that you, Jari, wanted, then it's perfect. And let's see what we have next. And now we're going from Finland to Chile, to Atacama Desert, which is a long way from Finland. And there is actually one common thing between Chile and Finland, and that is light. The character of light is quite similar in Chile than it is in Finland, and that's an interesting fact. Let's see what Juan Abarca says about his image. I was enjoying the sunset at the Incacoya Lagoon, located in the middle of Atacama Desert, Chile, when I see two kids playing soccer. So I shot my Sony A7 II, and then the EXIF date. I don't know why it doesn't show now, but maybe he took it out. It's 65mm at f5.6 and ISO 100. And this is a really, really great image. And, you know, this is one of those moments that you're really happy that you have your camera with you, because this is remarkable. And it comes all down to these two kids playing. And of course, then what decides is the moment that you press the shutter, that what are their positions. And here you can see the soccer ball that he was saying that they were playing. Without that, this image would lose a lot. And then also it asks us a bit questions. Why is the other kid running away from this kid with the ball? What's going on here? It's in a way raises a lot of questions. And then of course the slight amount of clouds in the top, which kind of makes the sky a lot more interesting than just having a gradual move or gradual change of color from yellow to blue. And this is one of those images that could also be, you know, more panorama image, just to cut a bit from the black and a bit from the sky and make a panorama image. That could also work. And if you ever, or any of you ever, get into this situation that you have a place like this, then just fire away and try to find the best combination with these two people in the image, because that's really important, even though they're really small. But yeah, great image. Let's get to the next one. Let's see if we have any comments. Yeah, like Lauri Majama says, love the simplicity of this image. And William Hansen says, could be sold as a stock wallpaper for Microsoft or Apple for the operating system. That's true. Maybe, I don't know if Apple has Inca Koya operating system name someday. I don't know. That could work. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And let's see the next one. This is an image from William Hansen from Bornholm. It's a small island in south of Sweden, and I hope I say correct, but I think it's in Denmark. It's part of Denmark. And what he said, some street art on a parking lot in town. Here he is handled because I went lightweight to town, handheld because I went lightweight to town. Sadly, gray is the sky theme over Bornholm lately. I personally prefer starry skies in the background. Yeah, this image would be a lot better with the better sky. So if this is a place where you can go again, try to plan your shot and see when it's really clear sky and try to make it again. And I don't know if you have a personal relationship with this mural or graffiti, because it says Christian Hansen and it's a memorial but I don't know if you want to talk about it, but it's not the thing that we're discussing here necessarily. But I personally love these kinds of places where there are a lot of graffitis, because they make great images. And usually, if you don't make any images with them, they're just nice to watch, because these people who make these, they are totally talented. They're so talented people that you cannot imagine. It's not easy to make these. I don't really like those people who make tags or just, you know, spray over these things. But this is a good image, and I would say that go there when the sky looks a bit better. But it's a good image. All right, let's take the next one. And this one is from Jost. During a short visit to Münster, Germany, I took this picture of the older center, usually very busy during daytime, with my travel combo Pen F plus Panaleica 15mm. The weather was not really good, but I like the wet cobblestones, the lights and the sandstone contrasted by the dark sky. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. That the cobblestones make the image. And what I like about this is the lower angle of view that you had here, that you went down, really down, and put the camera on the ground and made the image. It makes it a lot more interesting than if you had just standing there. It would probably be a bit boring image, but I really like this. And like you've said, that the weather wasn't very good. But the thing is, when it's wet, it will reflect. And on this occasion, there are not many colored light, which is of course natural because it's an old town. You don't usually have colored lights there that much. And of course, I like the two windows here that has light on. This is in a way kind of important when you go in with the leading lines and then you see those windows. It just kind of draws your eyes, and I think that's funny how important the light is here in those windows. And of course the sky, that it's not totally pitch black, even though it looks pitch black in the stream. There is a slight bluish tint on the sky in the image that I'm seeing. It's a pity that I have to figure that out. I've had to consult something how to match the image in YouTube to my screen. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Oh, it's always nice. My wife is sending me money. Good wife. All right. And then let's see what's next. This is on an evening walk. I took this picture on a residential street corner with the light post. Wet pavement reflected after rain and two houses with holiday lights. And this was taken with the EM5 Mark III and the Laowa 7.5mm f2.0 lens. Yeah, very interesting house for at least in this photograph. It might be just a regular house, but it looks really interesting. And again, wet pavement, reflections, colors, and stopping down. It doesn't say what the aperture was, but you can see from the lamppost that it makes a nice star. And Laowa lenses are those that usually have a really nice star. If you're stopping them down and there are highlights like street lights or any other lights, it will make it a really nice looking star. And on this one, like I said on the video about nighttime photography, that usually the yellow sky, when it's kind of like light pollution, doesn't look that good. But on this one, I don't feel that it's a bad thing. I think it has nice shapes and the color isn't that bad, as you can see on the screen, on the or probably on your screen on the stream. It looks a bit better than on my screen, but because it's a bit more contrasty on that live stream, and that's why I think it looks a bit better there. And also the blue reflection here is interesting, and the yellow reflection here. Again, the contrast between blue and yellow is really a good thing, and it's an always an interesting contrast. If you have blue and yellow in your nighttime shots, it usually looks more interesting. Let's see if we have any comments. And yeah, Gianluca, please do send some images, and don't forget about the 52 assignments that I have. Go to the description of this video after this, so that you can find out what it is. And Mark MKM said, good composition. Just thinking of adding some more stones from below. Wouldn't it make it better? Tilting the camera a bit down. Yeah, that could be. I'm not sure if he was talking about this image or the previous image, but could be this one too. Have more front, more reflections, and the same goes with the cobblestone images. And let's go to the next one. And this one was Naohiro Takasu. I took this picture in an industrial zone close to my home. It was difficult to find out camera settings because of the strong wind. I guess I should have opened up aperture and set shorter shutter speeds. Yeah, if the problem was that the camera was shaking because there was so much wind, then yeah, shorter shutter speed would kind of be better, because the shake doesn't show that much because the image is made so fast. But if it was something else, then it really doesn't matter. I think the long shutter speed has made the water to be a bit softer, or not softer. What's the word? To smoother, because it's moving, and the long shutter speed makes it not that sharp. And then what I like about this image is the composition. Look at how the bridge goes. This is a perfect place. Of course, this is a bit big here, but as you can see how this curve goes nice, and you can kind of have your eye wander around the image. And I think that's always a good thing. You have kind of like a point for your eye to go and rest, and then it starts moving. And that's exactly how this image works. These good benefit from adding a bit contrast, maybe saturation. But remember, like I said earlier already, that I like that kind of images, but it doesn't mean that you have to make them that way. You make the images the way you want them. And that's because this is totally fine. And this is also nice detail in the back that you have. I don't know what it is. It's probably a light that lights the clouds that are back there. And then it makes an interesting detail in the back, but it doesn't distract too much. You can kind of see it when you start to go here, then you go around, and then you come here, and then you see this. And I think that's it's nice, because it's always interesting in an image if you kind of first you look at it, and then when you have looked at it for a little while, you find something. It's rewarding, and that's what I like about this image. And let's see the next one. I'm checking the comments. Yeah, there are nice comments. And then we are in another place with Christmas lights. This was Patrick Wandlerberke. Image taken past week at local town. Wheel with Christmas lights. Live comp with few moves during exposure. Yeah, that's also an interesting way of making live composite, is that you move the camera to make the movement. And on this one, I think the ferry wheel, is that a ferry wheel? Yes, it is moving, and then you're moving the camera. And so that's why you get this abstract color streaks in the front. Of course, okay, the black sky could have been blue, but you know, when we're not always able to go to those places when there is still some light in the sky or some details in the sky. Works totally fine. On this, the black adds to the image in a way that it makes the image more contrasty, and that's why it's kind of nice. And the composition also is quite nice. You have the ferry wheel here on the right side, and then you have some empty space on the left, which makes it more calm, the image. And I think this is really a great image. A lot of colors. I like colors. And let's go to the next one. And this is Steve Page. What he says: sorry, I couldn't get out on a blue hour shot, so I tried for a dark moody shot just using the street lights. And bye for now. No, not yet. This is a really magnificent shot, and I think it doesn't need to have a lot of things. You can have a minimalistic image, and not this. You have these two lights. This one is, or I think it's quite obvious, it's a street light. But this one also might be a street light, but it's not that obvious because it's so far away, and you start wondering, where is this light coming from? And of course, when you have a bit fog, it kind of falls. You have a really nice what do you call it, gradual from white to black, and you have all these grays in between, and the composition is perfect. And there is some kind of a relationship that I cannot really find out what it is, and if Steve's here, don't ruin it, let the mystery be there. And this is also an example of something that I really like, that you are going out to get an image of a blue hour, then you cannot get it, but you come up with something a lot better. You come home with a better image. That's why I like this image. And this, there is something about the mystery and it is. I'm a bit speechless because I really like this image. And let's go to the next one. And yet another city with some reflections. And I'm saying that in a good way. I mean, good about this. This is Omar Omran, who says that there was actually an interesting point here. Hello and thanks for great help and support. Okay, I photographed around the blue hour time with Nikon Z2 and it was f11 and ISO 200, and no filters, and the shutter speed was 1/25th of a second. I did not use a tripod, but I used a box instead because street photography is not allowed in Arabian Gulf countries, so I had to hide the cam and did some tricks, and then it was edited in Lightroom and Luminar. But this is interesting that we have to remember that not all of the places that you are that free to photograph on the streets. And well, glad that you hid the camera in a box and managed to make this image, because this is stunning image. And of course, this is one part of this. The reason that this image is stunning is, of course, that these are some scenes that we don't have here in Finland. And we always have to remember that it looks exotic to me, but for some, this might not be. This might be their everyday scene, and that's one part. But it doesn't mean that it's a bad image. It's a great image. And usually, when you have reflections and times to photograph these type of places is when it's calm, when the weather is so that it's not too windy, so you have the reflections. And another part, of course, or another time is, of course, when after rain, then you can use other places too as also as reflectors. They are really interesting, and because the colors look different, they blend. As you can see here, you got all kinds of colors that you don't really see here, but there's some green, all kinds of colors. And look at these shapes of these buildings totally change because there is slight softness here, which kind of blends the colors, and you get a third color, which makes it interesting thing. And one thing that you could sometimes try if you're making images like this is to flip it, so that you flip it 180 like this, so that you have the sharp buildings here, and then the reflection is on the top, and that could also make an interesting image and kind of like plays around with your mind. That's also something to try and see how that works. And that works also with if you have some small puddles of water and then you turn them around. That really how would you say, kind of like plays around with your mind. You have to start thinking at what's going on in the image. It doesn't look right, and then that makes it really interesting. Try it sometimes. And let's go to the next one. And this one is Peter Wilcox. I wouldn't have gotten this image without my dog waking me up at 3 a.m. Yeah, dogs can be good sometimes when they wake you up. This was December 20th. Appreciate that it's a new image. When I took the dogs out, I noticed how bright the trees were illuminated by waning moon, as the branches were still covered with the thin layer of ice from previous day's storm. I ran into the house to grab so you didn't have your camera with you. You had to go back. Always bring your camera when you take your dogs out at 3 a.m. And he had the 12 to 100 millimeter f4 lens. In the exposure to 6 seconds, actually 8 seconds, but it doesn't matter. With the second time, with the 2-second timer, and the long exposure is that he wanted to make this or have the stars also there. And what I like about it is the reflection of the moonlight on the branches, but also what I'm wondering, is there a light in there? What is there inside? I think this small light here is interesting. What's going on inside there? And the composition is perfect. You have the trees here going like this, and then you have an empty space here where everything kind of leads. And then when you start looking at this, and then all of a sudden you find this, which is a bit spooky, isn't it? But there's a lesson. Try always to have your camera with you, so you don't have to run for it or run back for it and go back home and grab it. Try to grab it all the time. Have it in a small bag, and you can just take it with you every time. Let's see what it says. Polyrhythm says that Finland is the most beautiful place I've been to, though kind of tried these kinds of cityscapes or Finnish landscapes, but to each their own. Yeah, well, we have different places in a different type. Some of us like cityscapes, some of us like landscapes, and I think they're all good if it is a good photograph. We have to look at them in a perspective that what it is as a photograph. But let's go to the next one. This was something that caught my eye because it was totally different, and it's this is also written in Finnish. It's Timo Paukaman. This is from Finland. This is a cell phone image, and he says that okay, he had to, or it's not as good as it could be if it was taken with a proper camera. But I think making images with smartphones is totally okay. That's something that you always have with you, and they make great images. Of course, if you have a situation like this, when it's really dark and a lot of contrast, it might not handle the situation that well. But on this one, I think you have to really see what's going on here. There are quite a lot of things going on, and I would probably darken this area. This is a bit distracting here because everything happens here, and then all of a sudden there is something that doesn't really add to the photograph, but that would be totally easy to either just paint it black or crop the image. It wouldn't kind of lose anything. But like these white things here in the grass, those are really great. And like he said, it is a church where there was some kind of a light show on the going on, and really like the red color, which is a bit oversaturated, even makes it a bit more mysterious, and it's don't really know what that actually is, but it's a bit spooky image in front of a church. Someone looks like that, but it's yeah, well done. And then we have image from downtown Honolulu. That's a long way from Helsinki, Finland. And this isn't the image I set out to make. Okay, a good lesson again from Colby Walls. If you are planning on getting something, of course you will try to do that, but then don't be disappointed, but start looking something else. And of course, if you have a plan, you tend to see more things than only those things that you have planned. So having something in your mind will open up the mind to see other things, and you will come up with maybe even a better image, at least a different image, if you don't get the ones that you were planning to get. And I think that's a lesson of this. Let's see. There is some big display there in Santa Large, Christmas tree and more. As I was across the street thinking of new interesting composition, the bus and the holiday trolley went whooshing by. I popped up my fisheye and took this exposure next time they passed. Yes, it does show the holiday vibes. And what I like about the composition and the crop of this image is that you have the light star there right at the edge of the image. And of course, the fisheye makes the lights, or the lights from the trolley and the buses like this. And it would have been a bit better if this light at the top would have gone all the way up there. But in somehow also this could be the small distracting thing that you start thinking about why. And so I'm not really sure. It would have been maybe too perfect if it was completely, or the light would be completely to the edge of the image. But I think you kind of catch the holiday vibes and the business on this one. And of course, I really appreciate that you kind of went for something else and then found this. It's always rewarding to find something. Okay, sorry about that. We still have a couple of more images, and we're 92 people here. That's great. That's a huge amount. I haven't had these live streams for a long time. And let's see, it's Bartek. I took this photo in the center of Gdansk, Poland. The main effort was related to catch the moment when the water is still. Yeah, and you totally nailed it. I think there is a slight movement, which is good. It's not completely still because you have this slight movement. Like I said before, that you start blending the colors when the water is slightly moving, and it kind of makes it more almost watercolory type, but you can still see the shapes of the houses, and blends the colors and makes new colors here, new shades of yellow and different colors. And on this, I like the boat here, and this is interesting. It looks like a creature here. You got the eyes at the helmet and the eyes, and it's floating there. It looks interesting. It's probably an old mill or something like that, and it's probably an old harbor here. And good thing about this is also that you have the sky, that there are details in the sky, and it's blue, so it makes a great contrast between the yellow buildings, the light colored buildings, and then you have the blue, deep blue sky, which makes it interesting because of the contrast. And these ones are always tough because the light contrast is so high, is so big that you have a bit overexposed spots here, but it doesn't ruin the image. I think the composition and everything is nice. And now I actually see there's a little cross there, which is probably, is that a church? Probably. And that's something that, okay, I found it now. For some reason I didn't see it before. Now my eye goes there, and then there's of course the creature is still there. But I like this image. And very good nighttime photography image. Let's see, Viva Poland from Marek, yeah. And 3D image, okay, yeah. And I will get back to you, Gianluca, about me posting images to Olympus website. Okay, let's go to the next image. This a bit surrealistic image is from Dominique Depot. This photo was taken December 22nd, 2022. Maybe not. That's spooky. You probably meant 21. During the blue hour in my hometown in Belgium. It was shot with Fuji X-E4 with zoom lens 18-55mm. I zoomed while the photo was taken. I took about 10 photos before I got the result I wanted. Yeah, there is a good lesson about this image too, that zooming while making the exposure will make, the lights come towards you. It doesn't matter which way you zoom, it still looks a bit like that. And that can make a great looking kind of live composite type image, even though it is not. Just the long exposure. You might want to have the camera on a tripod. It's not necessary, but that is something that you could try. And then when you zoom, just make the zoom really smooth and steady, so that the speed doesn't change that much. You can try how that goes. It might make some interesting hard stops and stuff like that when you do that. So like Dominic says, he took 10 images to get it right. And that's also a good thing to mention, that sometimes you won't get it the first time. Don't give up. Try again. And if you cannot do it that time, go there again and try it again if you have something in your mind, because that's really rewarding. And this image I really like a lot because of the technique is great. And of course, also the idea that there's the blue sky, which so that it has details, and it's a great contrast with the yellow colors here. And also here you can see the zooming length on these two light streaks. And as you can see, look at these light streaks here on this also could be an image right here, if you could crop the image or take the image only from this area. That could also make an interesting image, because these light streaks here that the zoom made are also quite interesting, and these are quite obvious. But also this part is nice. So there could be actually two images on this same image. And then we have one more from Kevin Hugo. This is Lacock in Wiltshire, UK. It was captured handheld using Olympus EM1 Mark II and processed DxO Pure Raw and Lightroom and Photoshop. Now I need to... And yeah, this one also is quite interesting and great image. Look at the color on the telephone booth, and this is actually something that we don't see that often, but I heard that they will keep these in Britain, even though there might not be phones in there, but it's just part of their culture and part of the cityscapes or townscapes or whatever that people are used to it. So it's interesting. And then there is enough light here, and why it's dark, it looks a bit spooky too. This would be interesting if there was only light in one of these windows, or one window would be lit so that there would be light indoors. But this is really, let me see that. Yeah, you can see on my screen a few stars there, and some trees over there on this part. There are some trees which you might not see on the stream. And yeah, the white balance on these ones are really hard because this is a bit washed out. This could be a bit more blue, a little more saturation here, and then a bit more yellow here. But that's, of course, only me. This, what do you call this, pastel type yellow and brown is interesting color contrast with the red and blue here, which makes this image really interesting. That's an interesting question. There is who was it? Wait a minute. Gianluca is asking it. Very cool one. Phone box light painted, maybe. That could be. There could be a flash in there, or light painted, and you would have a camera there and a long exposure, or maybe a remote control, and then you could light paint this. That's also a good idea. Good idea to do is light painting the stuff. You put flash indoors and you yourself outdoors, and then you can get the indoor windows lit with the daylight balanced color. That could also work. That could be a possibility that the phone booth has it like that. But okay, we went through all the images that were picked this time, and I'd say that the quality of the images were quite good. And as I said, but one thing that I was wondering about was that the amount of images wasn't that big this time, even though the video that I announced the assignment in was a huge success. It has gotten over 20,000 views, which is quite a lot for my channel for that type of video. And I still have a few minutes here left because I have to, unfortunately, do some other stuff. I would love to spend time with you guys more, but don't forget this 52 assignments. You can still apply, and of course, if you miss a few, don't worry. You can do them later or beforehand or whatever you feel like. And I think you should take part on this, even though you don't want to share those images to us. You just do the assignments, and if you want to keep them yourself, that's totally fine. But the whole point is to go out and photograph next year a lot more than this year. And as I said, I will take part on this too. I will do it big week before, so I have something to show you what I thought about that. And when you have the assignment, and let's say that there is color green, for example. I don't remember the day, but there is a color green. Try to think what the assignment is. Like, I've been doing some judging in some photo competitions, and there's been like some images always that has nothing to do with the assignment. There was once a assignment that the assignment was black and white, and I was a judge on that. People send in color images, and it's like, why? What are you thinking? So try to think what the assignment is. So if it's green, the best image is something that if a certain thing in that image was something different color, it wouldn't be a good image. So the assignment topic is the core thing in that image. I know it's not easy, so don't feel intimidated that you cannot do it. Just start doing it and you will get a lot better. And the whole point is that you've made images in February next year for the assignment, and then the images that you take and make in September are a lot better than the images in February. That's kind of the point, that you will have better images at the end of the year versus the beginning of the year. And that's the whole point of that assignment for next year, so that you can be better. And of course, it's good practice for me too, because I want to photograph more, and that's something to do with you guys together. But are there any questions? Are there any questions? I still have a few. Well, I can ask you, how many of you are planning on taking part on that 52 assignments? And I will have similar feedback videos about those too, but they will be a little bit different from this. They won't be like a monthly topic, but there will be a time for you to send me the images that you've taken that month with 4 different topics, like average in a month, and I will go through those images. Some of them, of course, not all. But then also you will get feedback in the Facebook group that I have. So join if you haven't, and then there I will comment your images as much as possible, and also other people will do that. So we will get a lot of feedback, and hopefully that will make you better photographer next year. And let's see. All right, Alpaca Films, you already have the spreadsheet. That's great. I'm looking forward to your images. And so Balas too, I'm planning to take part. Great. William, great to hear. Laszlo, great to hear. Looking so much to your images. That's going to be interesting. I'm totally excited about that assignment. And let's see. Speaking of spreadsheets, this is a comment. There are people that I know that want to take part in it, but do not have FB. Would they okay to send me? Yeah, that's something that I have to think again. I kind of thought that everybody's in Facebook, which was kind of stupid thought of me. Of course you're not. What I will do is to have a monthly sheet, like the way you send your image to this assignment, the same way. And then you can, of course, choose one of the best images. I have to figure out that, and then I will pick from YouTube channel, from the Facebook group, and from that pile of images that you sent me, the way you have done it so far. But I will figure that out, and I will give some instructions in January about that. And then Lauri Majama will. Great. Peter Odi, please join. At least try. And if you don't have the time or the energy, then just, do it whenever you feel like it. But the point is to go out and photograph. And I didn't have FB account just for... Or you don't know, created an account just for the assignment. Okay, that's great. Remember, you don't have to do anything else in Facebook if you don't want to. That's just the be part of the group. And yeah, but I think I have everything about the images that I was planning to say, and about the 52 assignments. Really, really big thanks for all of you taking part. to this, and we will see you next time. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.